Schneids. We got another goalie, bud.
Love it.
Yeah, you're going to love that. But he's not the first time here. Marty Turco, we got a little flashback to last time you were on.
A great guest today, and we like to keep this show casual. We like to keep it, light. This is a new level here. We got Marty Turco from the adult beverage section of a grocery store, I believe.
Yeah. I'm at the Albertsons. They're one of their new stores, Tom here in Frisco, Texas. I'm doing a signings. Playoffs is coming up. Exciting time of year. They got a beautiful store. Of course, we're selling my beer, and so we just got plugs for everybody right now.
Marty, hey, I mean, what are you pushing today, bud? You got anything else going today?
I'm just pushing Val Stars and Mikko Rantanen because that was I don't know if I've ever seen a game like that. No, I'm not pushing anything, but I was like, I have to do it from the store. I did it, and I thought it was priceless.
It was incredible. I wasn't. Neither of us were obviously working that day. I remember I was out and about, and the TV was on wherever I was at, and I didn't have volume, and I'm like, what the hell's going? Is he from like? Is he from the booze section of the store? It was great. I loved it.
The vest on and everything too, looked like an employee.
But hey, everybody was having some celebratory drinks the other night. I mean, talk about what we saw with Mikko Rantanen, man. What a period.
Literally never seen a guy, single-handedly willed that game in there. Even though that great bounce that he got was. It was flying to the neutral zone. I was dead center ice right up in the suites with our CEO, Brad Alberts. And I'm like, this guy he's just another player. They had our number. They were kind of keeping us in check. They're a great puck possession team. They're a great team, period. But, I mean, literally in all my years of playing and watching, to feel like the season's over, to come back out of nowhere and literally single-handedly do it, obviously getting a power play goal from – Duchesne over to wide, Johnson back door and thread the needle. But, after that long-term deal he signed for a lot of money, something the likes we've never seen here, that kind of dollar, he's got a few years grace with me and all our fan base after that game.
Marty, just staying on that theme of the playoffs for the Stars, their opponent, the Winnipeg Jets. I want to get your take, because as the resident goalie on the show, I sort of have to speak for all goalies, which is hard. When you look at Connor Hellebuyck, a guy who's so dominant and has been so dominant the last few years in the regular season, struggle this badly in the playoffs, what do you chalk that up to? Is there anything you can remember as a goalie of how you played in the regular season versus the playoffs?
Yeah. We pretend there's no difference, but there is, of course. You feel it just stepping onto the ice, the crowd and the noise, the anxious tension that's out there. And so, I mean, I've been in his position, minus the Vezinas, probably minus 40 pounds and 5 inches or whatever. He's just a big guy, but it just seems like guys that the brain is on a little bit, and all season the brain's been off. He's just been reacting, and then once you second guess yourself for a hot second, it's hard. It's a hard game, and when confidence is a little bit low, and you don't listen to people on TV, the talking heads and in the newspapers, but you do. It's impossible, right? And so he's a heck of a goalie. At one point he's gonna get through it, and then he'll be off to the races. And personally, because I'm a Dallas Star, I don't hope it's this round, but sometimes you want to beat the guys at their best, and I think we could if even he was playing like a Vezina goalie that he is. But it's hard to watch because he's such a good goaltender. He played so good all season, all the last couple of years. We've had a hard time against him, but straight up, our guy against him at his best, I still like our chances, but it'll be a hard-fought series. The whiteout, I try to tell fans down here that Winnipeg started it many decades ago. It's a hard place to play in, and but we got a good team to do it, and we got by a really tough one too. I think that's a really good boost in our arm to just get that win in the 7th game against Colorado that plays us really tough.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the two juggernauts. I mean, it's hard to see either team leave the NHL playoffs. I want to ask you this. Thinking back to your career, you're one of the best puck-handling goaltenders out there. when we were watching that, Connor Hellebuck, Vezina guy again, I mean, all world. If there's one thing, if we're nitpicking, he's not a great puck handler, and I think that was part of the game plan, just get in there and pressure him real hard. But you were really good at handling the puck. Like, how did you feel like teams would play against you as far as trying to, did they want you to handle it, hope you make a mistake? I mean, look at some of these moves.
Well, the last one wasn't an All-Star game. The other one of them was. So they kind of had free reign in the All-Star game. But, you know, I tell people, and it's true, I probably played more hockey, you know, outside in a backyard on a frozen pond at Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, than I did as a goaltender with the lights on under a roof. And you know, when you understand the game, nuances of it, obviously ability to pass is important, but, you know, threading the tape and then doing it in practice also. You know, if you don't do it in practice, then the guys don't trust you. They don't have confidence. They don't know your ability to do it under pressure. The coaches don't see you. And so you get a little agitated. And you know, I was fortunate to come to Dallas, and Eddie Belfour was here. He was moving it, you know, decently from side to side and once in a while up the boards. But once I changed my hand over, it changed my whole demeanor of how how I could play the puck. I had a backhand. I had a flat sauce. I had a dispersion rate that just, you know, got exponentially better. And so that just gave me a chance to take my puck playing abilities to another level. And also, you know, Hitchcock to Dave Tippett and Wills, you know, they believed in what I was doing, even every once in a while when I was out there at the blue line, you know, I'd give it away and cough it up and get in the net. But they just said, hey, you know what? We're better when you play the puck. You know, our analytics back in the day, Snide, you like this one. Our analytics we're spending more time in their zone than we are in our zone. I think it's working. Keep doing it. But that also had a lot to do with one guy, number 56, named Sergei Zubov. When playing with him, he made me look really good. And I'd give him the worst passes in the world. He would knock it down. He'd be skating up ice, turn around, look at me, shake his head, and then go in and score a goal or get an assist. The guy was just a treat to watch. But you know, playing the puck to me was a part of the game. And I, you know, the way I looked at it, the way I looked at everything, including playing the puck, was, you know, you play the game to win. And if I can give my team an advantage and, you know, pre-trapezoid, use my butt a little bit to fend guys off because they couldn't hit me, and I was going to do it. And so, you know, once my defensemen loved it, they're like, "You're saving my career. You make me look good. Hey, don't even pass it to me. Send it up the boards." And often bypass them, and there's no egos. And I think that's a big part of things.
Yeah, you mentioned the hand-over grip that you used. I think you introduced that and popularized it, which I appreciated because I was a ghastly puck handler, but even switching my hand over helped me a little bit. So I do appreciate you making that more mainstream. But just sticking on the topic of goaltending, if you'll humor me for a minute, what's your thoughts on the state of goaltending today? The league is so skilled and fast. It's harder than ever to be a goalie, I think. But it does feel a little paint-by-numbers-y, where when you played and early in my career, there was a little more flair and style to it. What are your thoughts on how the position's played these days?
I still think there's, you know, guys that, you know, have flair. And to me, really, the flair is the goalies that just watch the puck endlessly. They know where it is all the time, and they're fighting to see it. And when it hits them, they know where it is up in the air. And that's just the way, you know, I played. So, you know, I enjoy that a lot more than, you know, the robotic style. Maybe I'm just, you know, at 6 feet and played at 190 pounds, like just not a plug like some of these guys. And, you know, you're an athletic big guy, and it's a big advantage, you know. So I just feel like we had to make saves. But to me, you know, if I go on the ice with kids today or I watch guys in the minors or even guys in the NHL, my favorite ones are the guys that just, they watch the puck and they track it, they make saves. And at the end of the day, you're always trying to make the game easier, and the less movement, the better. But sometimes you have to move, and you know, if you're not watching the puck, then your shoulders aren't going to follow, and your hands or necks, and you got to get your feet set. So I had quick feet. Obviously, you know, the highlights that you're just showing are not textbook by any means. You don't teach those things, Mike. And you know, I mean, they did when I was younger. I mean, pad stacks, barrel rolls, they're all part of goaltending schools in the summertime. I think I went to 2, and I told my dad, I'm like, if they're teaching me this, I can figure that part out on my own. And you know, guys, I watched a lot of guys like Felix Potvin was a big one when I was younger. Kirk McLean, who I could not play like, but you couldn't emulate him. But Dominik Hasek, you know, arguably one of the best of all time, or you know, he was a game changer. And the way he played was just so epic and so unique and so different. And nobody could score on him. So I was like, he's doing something right. And that just, added to me get out there to my flair. But I was always like that. My style was no style. Other than playing the puck, that was something that I owned pretty good.
So that's what always would get me. When you mentioned Dominator, when I used to always think of Hasek, I used to be like, what is and I don't even know who his goalie coaches were. I'm not trying to, talk down on anybody being his goalie coach, but like, he did things so unorthodox. He would you'd be skating over the blue line, chasing down a high flipper, and he'd come flying out to the blue line. Like, these are how do you have your own style but also coincide with the goaltending coach? Is that his job to adapt what your strengths are, or did you guys find in your career guys who were like, this is how we do it, this is how the position's played?
Well, to back it up, I'll get into his goalie coach in a second, Mitch Korn, but what made Dominic so unique and from what you're watching, that perspective, is that he practiced like that. And he was harder to score on in practice than he was in games. And he was pretty darn good over his career in the games. He would do the poke checks. He would chase guys out. He would, have his hands out in front and play in those angles. It has a lot more intelligence to his game than I think anybody gives him credit, just being acrobatic and, stacking a pad. A lot of it looks, kind of lucky, but there's a method to his madness is kind of really what I'm trying to say. And so Mitch Korn, legendary goalie coach who, had guys like Thomas Vokoun, really propped him up to be an all-star and a world champion when he was in Nashville together. And then, lo and behold, I had Pekka Rinne, who was a talent, but and then Braden Holtby, he was in Washington when they won the Stanley Cup. So he's got more than just pedigree. But when him and I would talk in the offseason, the one thing that always stood out to me was it was always about the mental capabilities. And he'd be helpful with film and stuff, but he's like, I'll let these guys all be unique. I let them be themselves. You're the ones making the saves, but I'm going to get you out of your own way when you get on the ice or before you get on the ice, so you can go play clear-minded and you can practice clear-minded. And there's things you worked on, but it was always about mental clarity with him. And I joked with him, but I was dead serious. I was like, I had some good goalie coaches, but I was like, Mitch, man, if you and I worked together, things could have been a little bit different. And mostly because, he's got Stanley Cups, but Barry Trotz was a very smart man to bring Mitch Korn along. And obviously he had some raw talent, but Steve Shields played in NHL a long time, had Mitch Korn. And there's a bunch of guys that get a lot of credit, or that Mitch should get a lot of credit for having a solid career, or even playing a few years in the league.
Yeah, I agree with you, Marty, there. In terms of goalie coaches, I think you have to understand as a goalie coach when your goalie's feeling good, when he's not feeling good, when to maybe stay away and back off, or when to put a little more on his plate, maybe make a few adjustments. But I think overall, you learn what a goalie's strengths and weaknesses are, and you try to coach to those. Hey, this is your base, this is your foundation, this is what you do really well. I don't want to mess with that. But here, maybe let's tweak around the edges here to make you more efficient, to make you a little bit better in this area. So, again, half of it is mental, too. He's almost like your therapist. Say, hey, man, I can't stop a beach ball. Like, well, okay, have you tried X, Y, and Z? And then other times, like, hey, man, I'm locked in. It's like, hey, all right, we're not going to mess with it. Let's just ride this. So, and I got to work with Mitchie at the end there in the island. So I know a lot of things you're talking about with him, and obviously a legendary goalie coach. So, again, I've had some good ones, have some not so good ones, but the best ones I found just had their finger on the pulse of their goaltenders.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't know, learning about that stuff. I mean, we always saw goaltending coaches, but you guys kind of did your own thing with them at the other end, right? So it's great.
Yeah.
It's great learning about that.
Mike's one of the guys that says, "Shut up and stop the puck." Right? You're that guy.
Yeah,
Get back in the net.
You're like the kicker. We only need you to make the kick.
I know your type.
So hey, we got. We want to try to challenge you with something here. So you're drafted 5th round, 1994 NHL draft. So we want to see how well you knew your draft class. All right, no pressure here, but there's 21 players from that draft that became all-stars. We just want to see how many you can name off the top of your head. You ready?
Oh my, yeah.
I got a list here. So there's 21. Just start ripping them if you can.
See, I was a late draft pick, so it had to be 76 birth years. Actual all-stars. Let's go Ryan Smith. I don't know my draft class at all. I was sleeping. It was all I know is it was in Hartford, and I was sleeping when I got drafted.
Actually, you're like, I actually have no idea who was drafted my year. That'd be even better.
I just got to go by ages. Like, I mean, I don't know. Jerome was younger than me, but maybe he was only 1 year younger than me. Um,
You had a Hall of
yeah.
Famer. You had a Hall of Famer drafted after you. Just a
Oh,
few
really?
picks.
That's a good one. What conference?
I don't even know who it is. This is my researcher telling me. Hold on. I don't know who it is either.
This is
All right,
the
what we got?
worst game of all time.
Wait. All right. So this is. Are we showing it?
Oh, no, it's just.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Replayable. Okay.
Martin Turco, you obviously won.
A couple
here.
good goalies in that draft too. They're running the list down the teleprompter. There's some good goalies in there too.
Yeah.
Been a long time.
Anyways, you get pretty nice list here of like that. Here's the
give me
Hall of Famer.
Oh, Danny.
Alfie, yeah.
Danny's great.
Yeah, Alfie's
He was
on
so
there.
good. See, I mean, if you remember those years where we only play Ottawa once, either
Right.
Dallas, you played 4 times at home and away against your division. You're like, so I didn't play that many games in Toronto, Montreal. Almost scored a goal, Madison Square Garden, my rookie year. I just don't have, I wouldn't remember. I assume Alfie was older than me though, but whatever. Yeah, look at the goalies.
That's the
Wow.
draft class. Pretty good draft
Hart,
class there.
Vezina
Huh?
Look
in
at
there.
and look at Timmy Thomas.
Yeah.
So I almost played him, and I thought Navia was there, but I thought Jose was younger, maybe just because he's, just a good-looking guy.
Because he's
Just
a
ask
handsome
him.
fella, huh?
He is.
Yeah,
He still looks like
always
that now. Yeah.
bastard.
We got a little blind resume we're going to end with here. So we're going to show, what are we going to show? 2 goaltenders, same year, and we're going to show the stats. We want you to know, we just want to know which one's better in your opinion.
Well, I know the guy on the right, and it was actually 1.72. So whoever got that wrong.
Told you.
And I missed 16 games with high ankle sprain, and I had 3 GMs come up to me at breakfast that morning and said, "Hey, you're the best goalie this year, but the other Marty's never won a Vezina, and we think he deserves one." And what really screwed me that year was that Jose Theodore the year before won the Hart and the Vezina, and then came and laid an egg the next year. So they felt like they didn't want me as my first year as a starter. They didn't want that kind of same thing to happen to them. So they gave it to Marty, and I think he went on to win 3 more after that. I was like, do you give it back to me, guys? I said, no. But that was my first year, and the best part of all that, you guys appreciate this one. The Stars picked up my option for that year. I made $800,000, and I had that year, and then I kind of had him over a barrel going into the off season. So sorry, Dougie, but thank you for all you did for me.
What a year though. Those numbers, man. Woo.
That's I mean
That gets me excited. I love seeing that.
number 2 in Vezina voting behind Marty. I mean, at least you lost to him, right? Like at least it's one of the greats.
No, it was a great year, and we had great teams. We ended up losing to Jaguar in the second round. He played unbelievable, made some just crazy saves. We had a really good team. It was one of my best chances to go win a cup. But yeah, you don't mind losing a guy like that for amazing career he had. But I just, not to toot my own horn, but I will. I had broken the record. It was awesome. Another guy from Sault Ste. Marie, Tony Esposito, had the record for lowest goals against, after World War II, and I had broken the record. We had 1 game left, but because I had a high ankle sprain and I was just getting used to the cast, like the tape job before going to the playoffs, I went and played the last game and lowered it to 1.72. I just shut out the last game going into the playoffs. So Dave Tippett and Armstrong were like, "You don't have to play." I was like, "No, I need to play. What am I here for? Records? Or are we here to, be ready for the playoffs?"
Yeah.
And I only missed probably 19 games my whole career, and there was 16 that year with a high ankle sprain, which I don't wish on anybody.
No, those stink.
Tough goalie. That's what we are, baby.
Yeah, tough. Tough
Can't
as
get us out of
nails.
the net.
That's
That's
right. We brought you on to bring up the toughness level of all the goaltenders. So, hey,
love it.
Marty, we appreciate you. Enjoy those games down there in Big D, man. Everyone's going to be watching it. It's been a fun ride so far.
The whole playoffs has been great. Enjoy watching you guys. Thank you for having me on. So we'll look forward to the whiteout tonight in Winnipeg, but can't wait to get the boys down here, hopefully with a couple wins.